Black Forest Labs just dropped Flux 2, and the realism on this thing is unreal. Characters stay consistent across 10 reference images. The style doesn't drift, the lighting looks dialed in, and the text rendering finally landed exactly where we always wanted it. And then Tencent rolled in with HunyuanVideo 1.5, the new best open source AI video generator, and it feels like the entire bar moved. A tiny model that somehow delivers controlled motion, clean cinematic movement, and frame-to-frame stability that shouldn't be possible at this size. And yes, it's completely uncensored. We're in a wild moment for visual AI, so let's talk about it. All right, so Black Forest Labs has been teasing Flux 2 for a while, and now that it's out, they went straight after that gap between open weights models and the polished closed ones that dominate production work. And the headline feature everybody's been talking about is this new multi-reference system. You can feed up to 10 images at once, and the model can actually keep characters, products, and entire styles consistent across generations. That solves one of the biggest headaches for people doing product shots or multi-panel sequences. Instead of tweaking prompts endlessly or relying on separate LoRa setups, the consistency is basically baked into the core of the model. The crazy part is that all of this works at up to 4 megapixels. So you're able to generate or edit images with legit photoreal detail, clean lighting, stable skin textures, well-defined hands, and all that stuff people constantly complain about in older open models. And when you combine that with the second huge upgrade, text rendering, it suddenly makes sense why so many designers and UI folks are looking at Flux 2 as more than just an image generator. The typography is dramatically better. Infographics, UI mockups, structured layouts, logos, and anything with fine text now look like something you can actually hand off to a client without getting roasted. A big reason Flux 2 feels different is the architecture. Black Forest Labs didn't reuse the old stack. They rebuilt it around a hybrid setup. On one side, there's this Mistral 324B vision language model that handles all the semantic understanding. It reads both the text and the reference images, so it actually understands what belongs where, how things should be lit, how materials behave, and how objects relate spatially. Then the second half, the rectified flow transformer, does the heavy lifting on the image structure. It's the part that handles composition, shapes, materials, and all the precise visual details. And instead of trying to squeeze everything through the usual diffusion pipeline, they paired this with a brand new VAE they built from scratch. That VAE balances learnability, compression, and reconstruction quality, which sounds nerdy, but the end result is simple: better images, less loss, and a more reliable latent space for editing. Now, the lineup itself actually has 4 versions. The flagship is Flux 2 Pro, which is the one meant to compete directly with closed systems. It's the option inside their playground and API. Then there's Flux 2 Flex, which is basically the tinker with everything version. If you want to adjust steps, guidance scale, and trade speed for detail, that's the one. After that, you've got Flux 2 Dev, the fully open-weight 32 billion parameter checkpoint everyone's excited about. It combines text to image and editing into one model. You can run it through providers like FAL, Replicate, Runware, Verda, Together AI, Cloudflare, and Deep Infra. Or run it locally if you've got enough VRAM, or if you're using the FP8 optimized pipeline they built with NVIDIA and Comfy UI. And then there's Flux 2 Klein, which is coming soon, distilled down to a smaller size and open sourced under Apache 2. They're pitching it as a small model that still punches way above its size. It's interesting that all variants have text-based editing and multi-reference baked in. That basically eliminates the mess of using one checkpoint for generation and another for editing. And honestly, the benchmarks back all this up. Flux 2 is scoring extremely high on ELO evaluations while keeping inference costs surprisingly low. Black Forest Labs literally compared it directly to Google's Nano Banana Pro, which is funny considering how hyped that model has been. Even on one of the hardest structured prompts, this wild scene with a monkey holding a pink banana while sitting on a tiger, with a horse riding an astronaut in the background, Flux 2 held its ground. That whole prompt is designed to break models that struggle with spatial logic, and somehow, Flux 2 got the relationships correct. When you stack all of that with their open core philosophy, it's clear where they're going. They want the open model ecosystem to be just as useful as closed commercial ones. And honestly, between Flux 1 and the new Flux 2, they're building real momentum. The dev community seems to trust them, especially since the open weights model actually integrates cleanly with diffusers, comfy UI, Cloudflare workers, and the usual ecosystem tools. It's not just good benchmarks, it's practical. And right when all of that is happening, the video side gets a major shakeup Tencent with HunyuanVideo 1.5. The timing couldn't be better because until now, the biggest limitation with open source video models has been two things. They either required massive VRAM or they fell apart with motion, physics, or consistency. HunyuanVideo 1.5 attacks all of those problems at once. And what makes it even more insane is that it's only 8.3 billion parameters. That's tiny. This model runs on consumer GPUs without needing to rent half the cloud. The core pitch for HunyuanVideo 1.5 is that it delivers smooth, natural motion, way better instruction following, and extremely high image-to-video consistency, meaning your first frame doesn't get distorted into oblivion after a few steps. It comes in two variants, one that outputs 480p and another that outputs 720p, and then there's a dedicated super resolution system that pushes your video to 1080p without the usual interpolation artifacts. They trained a special upsampling module directly in the latent space, so the upscaler avoids that weird grid-like shimmer older models tend to produce. One of the strongest parts of this model is its instruction following. It parses these long, detailed prompts and actually translates them into camera movements, lighting, composition, and multi-step actions. You can write out a whole cinematic sequence and it doesn't freak out halfway through. And it does this in both English and Chinese because the text encoder is designed specifically for rich multimodal mapping. You can see that in the demos. The figure skater example is a good representation of how stable the motion is. Her spin looks physically correct, her balance makes sense, and the video doesn't dissolve into visual noise. The DJ example shows how good it is at facial expressions and subtle movement. Then there's the cinematic B-roll tests, the bread on a marble slab under top-down lighting, the leaves with dewdrops. All of those shots just feel grounded. Even physics-heavy scenes like crushing a soda can behave realistically. Where it gets even more impressive is with camera motion. This thing supports pans, tilts, pullouts, push-ins, orbits, and all of that in a single prompt. The cat example where the camera pans down and shifts focus feels like something shot on a real lens. Then there's the desert reveal shot where the camera pulls back and rises. It follows the instructions cleanly, which is rare for open models. The model also handles multiple styles: realism, anime, retro, claymation, you name it. The claymation cake man eating himself is one of the examples they show, and despite how weird it is, the consistency is solid. And when it comes to image to video, this might be one of the best open source implementations right now. The cinematic woman turning her head from the retro portrait is a great example. It respects color tone, keeps the details intact, and adds movement without breaking the aesthetic. Now, when you start comparing HunyuanVideo 1.5 with the current leading open source model, OpenSora 1.22, it becomes really clear how big this step is. In a straightforward scene like the man in a chaotic market with explosions, Hunyuan actually follows the orbiting camera instruction. OpenSora barely moves the camera. In the anatomy tests, like the skater, Hunyuan handles the motion a bit better. In parkour scenes, both struggle, but Hunyuan stays more coherent. In character understanding, both models fail to recognize Naruto or One Punch Man, but that's expected. You solve that with Laura's anyway. One of the nicer differences happens in the dimension bridging ladder scene. Hunyuan blends the two sides while OpenSora splits them like a hard cut. In the couple kissing shot where the camera pushes in and tilts up for a text overlay, Hunyuan nails the camera move while failing the text, while OpenSora fails the camera but also fails the text. Text remains a weak point for open video models in general. When you compare them in image-to-video action scenes, Hunyuan tends to give faster movements but messier hands, while OpenSora is slower but cleaner. Both models produce decent jiggle physics, which obviously people test instantly because that's how the internet works. And in influencer videos, both do a serviceable job animating a talking character, but the pacing is slow and needs editing afterward. Benchmark-wise, HunyuanVideo 1.5 scores higher than OpenSora 1.22 in instruction following, visual quality, and motion effects. OpenSora only wins in structural stability and image consistency. The user study data even shows Hunyuan winning more comparisons in both text-to-video and image-to-video. Under the hood, the architecture is surprisingly advanced for an 8.3B model. It uses a unified diffusion transformer paired with a 3D causal VAE codec that compresses spatial data 16:1 and temporal data 4:1. This keeps quality high while reducing compute. Then there's the SSTA system, selective and sliding tile attention, which prunes unnecessary spatiotemporal data so long sequences don't eat your GPU alive. Add a multimodal large model for understanding instructions and a dedicated text encoder, and you end up with a tiny model that punches way above its weight. Tencent also put a lot of work into training optimization. They used a multi-stage pipeline from pre-training to post-training, plus the MAUN optimizer to speed convergence. They refined motion coherence, visual aesthetics, and human preference alignment, all of which shows in the outputs. And if you want to run it locally without turning your computer into a space heater, the workflows through Comfy UI make everything accessible. You update Comfy UI, drop in the text encoders, load the diffusion model, drop in the VAE, refresh your models list, and you're ready to go. If your VRAM is low, you switch to FP8 or even the GGUF versions, which cut the model size dramatically at the cost of some quality. You only replace the UNet loader and let the workflow do the rest. The smallest GGUF is under 5 GB and still runs full image to video generation. At this pace, open source might outgrow half the commercial tools out there. Which upgrade hits harder for you right now? Drop your thoughts below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit subscribe and leave a like. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.